you guys, for today's First Impression Friday, we are going to be taking a look at Just Patterns. Just Patterns is an indie pattern company brought to you by a woman named Delphine. She used to live in France, more specifically the Paris area, and now she kind of travels the world. You can read more about her in the story tab. But about the patterns, what I find really interesting about these is she says that her patterns are inspired by luxury ready to wear. And I think that that is so interesting because indie patterns tend to get a reputation for being like for the home sewist and maybe a little bit more basic. So the idea that something is inspired by luxury clothing at its start is very enticing to me. She says also through high-end detail-oriented sewing patterns, her goal is to help you create beautiful clothes you will love forever. So that's awesome. I also noticed when I was just doing my little cursory review is that her blog is up to date. She's posting pretty regularly. She has stuff on there like pattern hacks, and then she'll do like a pattern introduction as well. So she does not have a ton of patterns. I think half a dozen or so, but we are going to take a look at all of them today and see what we've got. Okay, so this is her most recent pattern. It just launched what looks like a couple weeks ago. It's called the Tatiana trousers, or maybe the J is pronounced like an I and it's Tatiana. I'm not sure. Okay, it says, tailor up. The Tatiana trousers have a flattering high rise, soft pleats, straight leg, and a floor grazing length. The front features two flat pleats on each side, slant pockets, a fly. On the back, there are 4 darts to provide shaping. That's nice. The buttoned single welt pockets are functional and also provide visual interest. The waistband has belt loops and an extension closed with an internal button and hooks and bars. Size is 34 to 56. She did say also that 2 of her patterns have this extended size range. She's working on converting the other ones that go from 34 to 46, and that she's also looking for pattern testers to do the 46 to 56 size range. So we'll take a look at the size chart, but if you're interested in doing some testing and you're a plus sewist, definitely reach out to her. So she says here that it's broken into 2, 34 to 46, and then 46 to 56. So it's like 2 separate sizes. Layered PDF, print at home, A4, AO, copy shop, all of those great things. It's available in English and French, and it includes a cutter's must. What is that? A PDF layout, order of operations, and step-by-step illustrated instructions. What is a cutter's must? Samples are sewn in wool blends and polyester suitings. I love when they do this. They tell us exactly what they use to sew their samples. For this pattern, she recommends light to medium weight wovens with a good drape, such as wool or cotton suiting, wool crepe, lightweight wool tweed, cotton twill, tencel, linen cotton blends, 3 and 4 ply silk crepe. Just Patterns are meant for fashion lovers and dressmakers who already know the basics of sewing. In case you need help sewing your trousers, I curate a list of useful information on the resources page. Okay. Good information there. All right, let's take a look at these. So, as she explained, nice big waistband, high-waisted, belt loops, hook and bar closure. Then you've got the 2 soft pleats here and the full fly. And then you can see the waistband is extended this far. So it wraps over kind of a lot. It bothers me in some ready to wear whenever the extension is only like this far and it just feels like it pulls a lot. So to have this much would make me feel nice and secure. Straight leg, floor grazing length. She didn't say what height she drafts for, but and maybe this is just like the perception of the photos, but she seems pretty petite to me. So I'd be interested to see what the inseam of these are. The slant pockets are really nice. And then look at this detail. I love this so much. Uh-oh, what happened? Where'd we go? Uh-oh, uh-oh. Sorry, technical difficulties. Here we go. The welt pockets with the buttons, such a nice detail. And you can tell because she's got the 4 darts in the back, sometimes when you do the high-waisted pant, the backside can look a little bit like I don't want to say like a diaper, but it can be just like, I don't know, something about it is off. But because she's got these 4 darts, the shaping is really nice through the center back, and I think that creates like a beautiful, really flattering shape to the pant. Here is our side view. Gorgeous. I mean, they look really well made. That's for sure. I know that has nothing to do with the pattern themselves, but you can tell that she is a experienced sewist in her own right. Very classic. Beautiful color. Love that. I would love to see some of her instructions just to see what we're dealing with in terms of, she said they're for the sewist that, has already got a little bit of experience under their belt. So I just wonder how they are. Okay, this is our size chart, and I apologize. I'm not going to be able to zoom in, I don't think. Yeah, I can't zoom in, so we kind of just have to like squint together. But it says body measurements in inches. So the waist is in her Mrs. size range is 23 and some fraction up to 33 and a quarter. And then the plus is 33 and something up to 44 and 7/8. So roughly 23 to 45 inches in the waist, and then 33 to 43 hip, and then 43 to 55 hip. So I am a size almost exactly, well, is that right? I don't remember my waist measurement right now. But I think I'm almost a straight size 50. So interesting that I am not only just in her plus range, but like deep inside the plus range. I do not consider myself a plus size person. I'm not in ready to wear. I'm not in most sewing patterns. If I ever am, it's like my waist is in the misses and my hip is in the women. So the fact that my waist and hip both are falling here, it means to me that extending the size range was imperative for her, and that she could probably even go higher. I think the standard, amongst the plus size pattern designers like Cashmerette, I think she goes into like the mid 60s on a hip. So, applauding the effort here, but that was, I kind of feel like this should have been part of the regular size range all along. But that's just me. Okay, so then and then she has some finished garment measurements as well. It looks like about 3 or a little less than 3 inches in the waist of ease and 4 inches of ease in the hip, which is really nice. Then here's the inseam. The inseam, or I guess the inseam is roughly 20. Oh, that's interesting. So the inseam for the misses is 28 and 3/8, and then the inseam for the women's is 26 and a quarter. It's shorter by a little less than 2 inches. I wonder why that is. That's very interesting. Yet, the side seam is the same across the board for the misses at 25 and 5/8, but then the side seam for the women's is almost double that? Does that make sense? That doesn't seem like that makes sense. That's confusing. Why, that just must be a misprint, right? Why would the side seam be almost twice as big, twice as long, and then the inseam be shorter on a, yeah. I'm not understanding that. If that makes sense to you, let me know. Okay, and then roughly 2.5 yards of fabric, which I think makes sense for a pant pattern. All right, so then we've got design features, which we already went over. Suggested fabrics, we already went over. Then she also gives you what the pattern pieces look like. Wonder what this is. 11. Oh, back lower pocket bag. Okay, great. And then all your extra notions, pieces that are fused. The notions include interfacing, pocketing, which you don't see in indie patterns very often. It's like a type of fabric. Seam and bias binding, 1.5 yards. So I'm assuming she has you bind the like the basing of the waistband, maybe? Zipper, hook and bar, and then buttons. Oh, here's a cutter's must. That's what a cutter's must is. Oh, a cutter's must. Okay, so it's like a list. That's so interesting. That must be like a professional thing. Interesting. I like that. A cutter's must. All right, gotcha. Oh, and then here are some examples of the instructions. So you can see they're illustrated instructions. And it looks like I want to see like how many instructions there are, you know, like is it broken down into really small steps, or is it a little bit more general? And it looks like there's going to be a lot of steps. I mean, we're at step 20 and she's only talking about making the welt pocket for the back. So at this point, we have not sewn side seams, inseam, crotch, waistband, none of that. And we're already at step 20. So that sounds pretty good to me. I love that she shows that. You know what? I love whenever they have the free patterns, not necessarily because I can get a free pattern, but because it helps me see how their instructions are written and illustrated. That was an excellent way for her to not have to provide a free pattern, which I would understand completely why she wouldn't want to do that, but still gives me the information that I need. I really, really love that. Okay, so this pattern is on sale currently for $11.20. Very good. I mean, $11, and we talk a lot about the value of a indie pattern, and if she is providing all of these extra high-end details and still coming in, even when it's not on sale, at less than $15, that seems to me like there would be a ton of value there. There is only one view, which I think some people place value on, having multiple views. But honestly, having one trouser pattern that is exceptionally drafted, exceptionally designed, I don't know, that might be worth $14, even though it's just the one view. Okay, now we've got the Tyra T. This one is $10. And she describes it as, bigger is better. The Tyra T is a structured boxy t-shirt with an intentionally oversized fit, which is totally on trend right now. Drop shoulders, subtle waist shaping for a cool, relaxed look. The neckline is finished with ribbing, which is interesting, but okay. They have sizes 34 to 56, so this does have the extended size range. The Mrs. size range has a BC cup, and the women's size range has a double D. The pattern is available in English and French and includes the same thing as the last one. Samples are sewn in heavy cotton jersey. For this pattern, I recommend knit fabrics with body, such as cotton jersey and ponte. So, medium to heavyweight knits, it seems. Well, I guess it would be like a lightweight ponte and then a mid to heavyweight jersey. For knits with more drape, you might want to consider sizing down. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the pictures. So, I think that this is what she means. This is how we can tell that she's using a really, like a more heavyweight jersey, because it is falling away from the body pretty significantly here. But if it doesn't give like a beautiful structure to the top, you know, that does look really, I mean, it looks expensive, right? But that's a cute picture. Yep. I don't think anybody would wear it untucked like that, though. But I appreciate showing this picture so we can see the hem, we can see the length. That's great. Yeah, really cute, really trendy. I'm getting like a ton of Kendall Jenner vibes from this. French tuck's really nice. It doesn't look bad untucked. I just think that, like, you know, if you're going for like the style, it would be fully tucked into a high-waisted something or another. It's really cute. Very, very cute. It looks like something you would find in, you know, one of the Nordstrom brands. Okay, so let's look at these body measurements and see how they compare. So we've got our bust measurement is 31 to 39 in the misses, and then 41 to 52. So a total of 31 to 52 in the bust. The waist, which is kind of negligible because it is such a boxy tee, so we'll skip over that. The hip goes from 33 to 55. So in this, I am between sizes. I am still a 50 in the hip, but I am like way down here in a 40-42 in the bust. Finished garment measurements, again, there's going to be a ton of ease. Yeah, there's like almost 11 inches in the bust alone. And 8 inches in the hip. So I could fudge the hip a little bit. I definitely don't want it to be any more, I don't want there to be any more extra ease in the bust than there already is. So I'm inclined to just make the, if I were making this, I'd be inclined to make the whatever bust measurement I am, and then like grade out at the hip a little bit, maybe by one size. So it'd be a lot closer fitting on my hip, but not any more big in the bust. And then she has the length from the center front, which at least that makes sense. It goes from, 19 up to 24, like a gradual raise, a gradual lengthening. And then you need like hardly any fabric for it, so that's great. Here is our technical information with the cutter's must. I am going to be using that term all the time. I love that so much. Okay, so she has, 3 pattern pieces. Notions, all you need is the ribbing, which technically you don't really need. You could do it out of the self fabric. I just wonder if these neckband lengths would still correspond, since the ribbing is so much stretchier. I just don't know where she got heavyweight cotton jersey and completely matching ribbing. Like, that's just hard to find for a home sewist, you know? All right, and then this must be, yeah, this is the women's version. And then here are her instructions. Stitch shoulder seams right sides together with a 3/8 inch seam allowance using an overlocker or stretch stitch on regular sewing machine. Press the seams toward the back. Stitch the sleeves to the body of the shirt in a not in the round, in the flat, what is that called? Press the seam toward the sleeve. Finish the bottom edge with an overlocker. I would have swapped these. I would have finished the edge before attaching it to the shirt, but that's just me. Okay. So yeah. Cute. These are just going to be them on the mannequin. Okay. So that's the tire tee. Tire tee, a little bit basic, but but with that said, that doesn't look like another pattern to me. I don't see many people designing that, which makes me think that the luxury, ready to wear inspiration is really kind of coming through here. It's not just, hey, let's design a basic tee. It's, hey, let's design a tee that I am seeing in the high-end department stores. So that's cool. All right, now we've got the Stephanie skirt. $10. Flare design with an elegant midi length, perfect for every season. It features inseam pockets, 3 inverted pleats in the front and in the back, an invisible zipper, and a waistband with an extension and hook and bar closure. She does have the extended size range here. Sewing patterns, blah, blah, blah. Same thing for every pattern. Samples are shown in a brocade, brushed twill cotton, cotton lace, wool cashmere blend, and cotton poplin. I recommend fabrics with body for this pattern, which means not drape. So there you go. I would just love to see how she does her waistbands. I've never had a lot of success sewing the ones with the hook and bar closure at home. So that would be really interesting to me. I mean, it is, you know, a pleated skirt. Nothing too exceptional there, but I wonder if like the finishing details and, you know, how it's constructed and all of that is better. I do like the width of her waistbands is really good, especially for a high-waisted garment. All right, that's the Stephanie skirt. Stephanie skirt sizing fabric recommendations. She included a bust here, but I don't think we really need that. It looks like everything comes in one size. Nope, she just didn't, her chart doesn't separate it like the others did. So your waist is 23 to 44, your hip is 33 to 55. Of course, the hip is negligible, so she just didn't even include that in the finished garment measurements, which totally fine with me. And there's only a little less than 2 inches of ease in the waist. And then she has her length here, which is the same for everybody. The same for everybody. Okay. And then 2.5 yards of fabric. And then here are our pattern pieces. Teardrop pockets. No. You guys know that is the literal bane of my existence in sewing patterns. I'm shocked that she doesn't have the sewn into the waist. I wonder why. Maybe because the fabrics like brocade are just a lot thicker, or because the hip is so wide that if you had floppy pockets, but still, like the fact that they flop to the back, and oh man, that's disappointing. Disappointing because she has set the expectation to be so high end and so well finished, and to me that is like not. Oh man. Okay. Um, then yada yada yada, all those things that you need, pretty standard. Okay. Let me see something. So it looks like, well, this could just be a trick. My eyes playing tricks on me. I was gonna say it looks like this is curved, but I think it's actually straight. Definitely looks straight on this the women's version, but look at this. The women's version actually gets more pattern pieces. So instead of just making the rectangular panels larger, she split them up into princess seams. Now that might be awesome enough to make up for the teardrop pocket. That's really smart and thoughtful. So that makes me think that as she's extending her size ranges, she's not just like creating a new block and then extending it out. She's really thinking about the shape of a woman and how clothes fit that woman. That's brilliant. All right, and then seam allowances are included. Their value is indicated in the seam allowance column. Operations. So this is like an instruction without, that's kind of cool. An instruction without illustrations, without like over explaining anything. So like if you've sewn a ton of skirts before, you can just refer to this little checklist and just knock it out without having to flip through tons of pages of instructions. That's pretty neat. And then here's your detailed instructions. Yeah, I love that. Oh my god, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. Oh, okay. I'm gonna move on from that pocket. Oh, and then she has some mocked up in the women's. Great. Okay, cool. Stephanie's skirt. Next, we have the Linda wrap dress. All right, Linda. $7. Add an interesting and flattering wrap dress to your handmade wardrobe. The Linda wrap dress has a relaxed fit with gathers in the front and back. Gathers in the front and back of the bodice and skirt. Sleeves are mid-length with a two-piece placket and cuff, closed by a button. So like you're a real placket, not that little dingy bias bound one that is borderline as offensive to me as teardrop pockets are. The waistband features a belt closure for which you can use metal eyelets or embroider them. The details of this dress: the bias cut collar sitting at the base of the neck, the generous side pockets, and the top stitching elevate a wardrobe basic to a special place you will reach for over and over. All right, the cream color sample is made from a heavier 4-ply silk. Okay. While the black one was made from a woven crepe. Both fabrics have nice drape. Therefore, we recommend woven fabrics with body and drape for this pattern. So kind of like a heavier weight with some drape, a relative amount of drape. The quantity will depend on your size. Okay. And this is only the Mrs. size range. This has not been extended yet. And that might be what the $7 is based on. Maybe. Kind of hard to see a black sample, but you've got some gathers here that she mentioned. It is a surplus wrap, probably a true wrap. I love the neckline and the collar, and then she's got these little pockets in there too. Is it it's kind of like a bit of a drop shoulder, so you get kind of a boxier fit above the waist, but then a closer fit below it. Here's her silk version. Great. Okay, so the bust measurements are 31 to 41. Waist is 23 to 33, and hip is 33 to 43. So I could make this, but I'd have to do a lot of work to it. So yeah, this would be I would definitely, me personally, be keeping my eye out for when this size range is extended, because I do like the pattern, but I would never buy it as it is, as these measurements are now. It'd just be too much work. So, I mean, there is some ease, but still not enough. All right. Oh, and here is okay, so the drawing helps a lot because you can see where the darts or the jeez, what have I done? You can see where the gathers are and the top stitching. Oh, and they're actually patch pockets. They're not sewn into any seam at all. And they wrap around the body like this? Well, that's interesting. I definitely didn't pick that up from the photos. But you can see the placket here, which is nice. Do we get any? Yeah, this is the only side photo, and I can't tell the pocket at all, really. I mean, barely you can see it there. That's interesting. I wonder if... I like the one where she has the pattern pieces drawn out individually. I like that a lot. We also don't get any screenshot of any of the instructions on this one either. So I would say if this is where she was and the other patterns we've seen so far is where she's at now and where she's going, great improvements to the site, to the listings, to the patterns themselves. So kudos to her for that, for sure. Ooh, this is the Yasmin skirt, $7. Flattering maxi skirt to your handmade wardrobe. The Yasmin is a dramatic maxi skirt with figure flattering seam lines. It's fitted through the hips and starts flaring out above the knee. The skirt features an invisible zipper and grosgrain inner waistband. Depending on the fabrication and styling, the skirt can take on a very special occasion look or a more casual vibe. All right, the gray sample shown is made from a mid-weight wool tweed, while the white one is silk crepe machine. But I think the white one was taken out. I don't see those pictures anywhere. For this pattern, we recommend light to mid-weight wovens with drapes such as silk, wool crepe, linen, twill, rayon. Okay. So, well, it is beautiful. That's for sure. I'll be interested to see the seaming, but I think it's kind of like a princess seam situation that kind of curves up this way. Beautiful. It's like a mermaid, right? There's your invisible zipper in the back. No hook and bar closure. It just has the little hook and eye. Yep, there you have it. Here are our seam lines. Stunning, gorgeous. If I were ever making like a wedding dress or a gown of any kind, 1000% I would use this as the base for the bottom half and then add a bodice to the top. Really, really good. Yep. Okay. And then I think we've already established the sizing is, we'll just establish where the sizing is. So there's that. There is, I wanted to see about the ease in this one. Yeah, so no ease in the waist, really, and then the hip has like 1 inch. So there you go. That is Yasmin. All right, so that is Just Patterns, small but mighty little collection. Like I just said, I really do feel like where she started and where she's going are like, there's been a lot of evolution, and I love to see that. I would 1000% make this t-shirt. The trousers are very interesting and appealing to me. I would just love to see the construction of the waistband with the hook and bar. So yeah, definitely someone I am going to keep my eye on and check out the new patterns as they come out. Love it. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, she also has some information on sizing and diversity. So you can check that out as well. But that is going to do it for me today. Please let me know what you guys think of these patterns, what you think of some of the topics that I brought up with in terms of sizing, in terms of fabrication, in terms of design, and all of that. But I will see you guys very soon. Bye.